How would you like to learn the secrets of two Karma Club Award winners on how they have built successful online businesses from almost nowhere to now running multiple 7 and 8 figure businesses by following the simple fundamentals of life? And let's see how they have used the powerful funnel systems, processes, automation, and social media to help their business grow at a different pace. Let's dive into their journey to grasp the strategy, mindset, action plan of how they have done it from almost nowhere to the way up to 7 figures. We are going to uncover and pick their brains of the top performing entrepreneurs on this show. How they have done it and how you can do it too. You are listening to the Nikhil Sai, the host, and welcome to the Nikhil Sai Show.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm actually listening to this podcast right now. First of all, guys, welcome to the Nikhil Sai Show, which is hosted by me, the Nikhil Sai. And guess what's going on today? We're back with another amazing guest. This is going to be crazy, crazy, crazy journey, guys. I mean, how many people do you know in like who has done over $25 million in 4 short years with one coaching program, one offer, one funnel, one ad? Curious to know, right? So just make sure to stick around. I mean, this dude is crazy. If you had looked at his journey, he was a former business education teacher, who went to the traditional route after his schooling, and then quickly realized that he didn't have passion for that, and he just wanted to get out of the box and get into entrepreneurship. He started his agency in 2014 and scaled it to 7 figures very, very quickly. Then he fell in love with that system and the kind of financial freedom he achieved, and he tried to transfer that knowledge into a coaching program, and quickly it turned out to be a 8 figure business, and he's been scaling that through these phase to a different level, to the moon, guys. So this is absolutely crazy. And you know what's really interesting, that his focus, right? He don't like to waste time on 100 different things. He really focus on the one thing which is important as a business owner, and focuses on transformation. So guys, let's actually welcome the 2CCC winner who is actually joining the podcast today. Let's not waste any time, and actually let's welcome James Bondies, co-owner at Local Marketing Vault and Visibility Cloud LLC. Hey James.
What's going on, bud? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Glad you
That's it.
asked. How about you,
What
brother?
a great intro.
I mean, yeah, your introduction. That's right. I mean, it's you
Well,
who's joining us today.
you did a good job at it. So
Yeah, appreciate
appreciate
that, James. I mean, yeah, I mean, when I looked at your journey and while I was actually kind of funnel hacking you overall, it was like, man,
it.
this is next level stuff. I mean, so simple, looks easy,
Yeah.
doing whooping 25M. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, before we go into business, James, I mean, can you please start with your like backstory? Like, how did all of this craziness started?
Uh, Kind of like what you explained. I mean, traditionally, I come from a family of teachers. So naturally, I fell into that same, uh, you know, way of doing things, which was get a job, right? I got
Mm-hmm.
into teaching mainly for summers off and getting home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And time goes on and you meet somebody and you get married and you have kids and you're like, well, okay, I'm not really making much money. So I need to find a better way. Went online, tried a bunch of different things for years, because I would do it kind of during my work hours and then most of the time at night. And nothing
Mm.
really worked. And I always say didn't work. Maybe it would have if I worked harder. I don't know, but I fell into a logical business, I like to call it, and essentially, working with local businesses was logical to me. It was like, okay, I generate them leads, they get more customers. Why would they stop paying me? And that was the simplicity of the business model,
Mm.
and it worked. And I started off with SEO, and then I ran into problems with SEO because it takes 6 to 9 months to get results for your clients, but you're
Yeah.
paying them, they're paying you. And so they start coming back. It's like, yo, where's my ROI on this investment? And that's where kind of the one thing that all marketers should know if they want to sell anything online um, comes into play, where my business partner and I came up with a way of like, all right, let's still do the SEO, but let's run paid traffic at the same time.
Mm.
So the business owner gets the leads, and now they're not hounding us, and they're starting to see our ROI, and that turned into doing it mostly for mortgage loan officers, and we found that most of them wanted to learn on their own and do it themselves. And then we found that marketers wanted to buy it was called Mortgage Marketing Master at the time, wanted to buy that. And then it was like, well, heck, we have 19 different other niches. Why don't we sell all of them packaged up to marketers? And that's what we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great start. I mean, yeah, transitioning from a traditional way of looking at a job and employment and making money to entrepreneurship and finding the right way, sweet spot where your clients are actually kind of sticking to you and caring for what you're offering. Yeah, that's a great move, James, right? That's beautiful. I mean, I think it's a lesson for a lot of agencies who are kind of taking cash and unable to give results fast. I mean, your clients are paying you for results fast. They don't want it in 9 months, the next year, and the 9 years, right? They need it yesterday. So you need to admit that fact and try to package it just like the way you did, James. That was a beautiful move. And I mean, when everyone looks at your stuff, like just like the transition you had from, this brick and mortar local SEO business to more of a packaged DIY coaching business, right? You shifted pretty quickly and you did it with your one thing focus, right? I
Yep.
mean, right now you're scaling your coaching business to the roof with one ad, one funnel, and one offer. So how to master that, James? Please tell us the secret sauce. How have you done it?
Don't look at Facebook and buy every shiny object that you see. No. From the coaching perspective, simplicity scales. And one of the things that I was lucky with was having a mentor way back in 2000. I guess it was not that long ago, but 2017, where, he would basically say, like, the simpler your business is, the more money you're going to make. And so every time, as I think as a marketer and a coach, and for all coaches out there, we tend to start to see success. Well, we go two paths. We either complicate the living heck out of it in the beginning and we never go anywhere, or things come easy because we kept it easy. And then it's like, you kind of have all this time and you're like, well, I want to go and do this, and I want to add a downsell, and I want to do a two-step order form and upsells and all this stuff. And you're now moving away from what works. And we would do that. We would try these things. And every time we did, right, ROI would drop. And you almost have to force yourself to just say, it's okay if a lead comes in, opts in, and doesn't buy. Like, let them go. And, they're in your world. Maybe they're friends with you on Facebook, whatever. They'll be back. And we started to find that, our systems would bring people back and our emails would bring people back to the point where people are like, I've been on your email list for 12 months. I'm ready. So my biggest advice is don't chase the present, basically prepare for the future, and just have confidence that your system will always churn you leads, calls, and sales.
Wow, that's a deep message, James. Appreciate you mentioning that. Actually, I mean, yeah, I think that sounds really cool for coaches to be like, you know what? I have 7 different courses with 18 different programs and 10 different funnels to run my business. They are all automated, but guess what? They're broke, right?
Oh,
So I
absolutely.
think I think the focus should be, as you just mentioned, and it's okay to admit the fact that there are leads who won't buy, and that's fine. You just
Yeah,
need to serve the right people over and over and replicate it with the one thing. That's beautiful, James. Appreciate you mentioning that. Let's get to
absolutely.
the next question. Yeah, I mean, James, I mean, we see a lot of new coaches popping up right now in the industry. They'd be like, I'm a coach, great. But do you have a sustainable business? Most people don't, because just like you built a recurring business, most people are not successful at building that. So can you kind of walk us through, like, how can a coach, or especially a new coach, can build a recurring revenue as a coaching business? How does that work exactly?
It's a perfect question because I literally just got done doing a presentation on it. I call it the Lambo method. And basically it goes something like, if everybody could afford a Lamborghini monthly, everybody would own one. And not necessarily a Lambo. It could be any high quality sports car in general, right? And so I looked at my coaching program kind of like the Lamborghini. And I said, look, I'm going to sell it for high ticket, but I'm also going to allow people who don't have the $6,000 or $7,000 to pay up front. I'm going to allow them to get into a payment plan, whatever it is that they can afford. I mean, we had structured ones. And so like we would go out 24 months at $297 a month, right? And so like we were in these masterminds and all these coaches and stuff, they'd be like, yo, you guys are nuts. And when you actually think about the logic of it, we are already paying for the phone call, right? And for our sales guy, to take a $297 payment, yeah, it's not exciting for him, but he already spent 45 minutes on a call with them. They want in, they want in, they can't afford it. So we allow them to get in $297 or $499. There was all five, I think there's five or six payment plans. And what that did was it naturally built recurring revenue without us having to create a new product. And nobody does this. And I always wondered why. And so it literally built like huge amounts of recurring revenue because we're bringing in 250, 300 people a month. And so, if 100 of them came on 297, what am I going to collect next month? I'm going to collect 30 grand and then another 30 grand on the people who paid 3 months. Yeah, it compounds. And so our business at one point was probably up to about 520,000 a month in recurring revenue. That's how high it was.
Wow.
And that includes like payoffs, right? So people who are in, we give an early payoff. So they pay more money on a payment plan, but they have 90 days to pay it off for the original amount. And then we have bonuses and so as long as coaches can build a bonus area and give people a reason who have the money to pay in full, then it works. It just works. Or a sales guy could just hold out and say, this is really all I got, but it works.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, James. I mean, yeah, like people think that they're lowballing their program, but instead they're actually creating opportunity which was never existing
That's
with
exactly
the
right.
payment plan system. Yeah, with the payment plan system you spoke about. And yeah, that's absolutely true. They already spend the time, enough time prospecting, speaking to them on the phone, see if they're a good fit. If they are, why don't give them a payment plan which will make things easier for you and them,
That's
right?
exactly right.
And the Lambo method. I love the analogy you've used right there.
Thanks.
Everyone can afford it, right? They would
Yeah.
definitely buy it. And you're trying to make your program as good as a Lamborghini, so everyone be excited to buy it and stick to it.
Exactly.
Because churn rate is something you should be looking over to. That was beautiful, James. Appreciate you mentioning that. That is a real golden nugget for a lot of coaches who are actually going to listen to this podcast right there. Appreciate that, James.
Absolutely.
I mean, James, let's get to the next question. This is something most impactful, and I'm personally keen to hear your answer on this, right? I mean, you've been a coach and you've been delivering great impact, to all of your existing clients and upcoming clients, and you've been a master at doing, especially the transformation thing, you can call it, right? So the problem with the new coaches, or especially the coaching programs right now, right? They don't really they give the information sort of, right? But they are not really transforming the real person into a different person, or can't really deliver the outcome they're actually looking to achieve while they're journey. So when it comes to the delivery mechanism, like how to actually transform people through a coaching program, how do you see that?
Humans are interesting people, us included, me included. And one of the things that I've learned that people will never, and it takes a lot of work to allow yourself to sit in the unknown, right? So what ends up happening is that people have beliefs, right? You have your core beliefs, and then you're going through life, and you have new beliefs and old beliefs and stuff like that, and they change all the time. But what people will always do is, if I remove a belief from you, let's say I'm removing a limited belief from you, whatever it might be, you will not allow the space in the space that I have created in your mind. You won't allow it to just stay stagnant. You will go and find something to fill it. You'll fill the void, right? It's like you can't leave people with open loops because they need to fill it. They need to fill it. And so and you can fill it with any information, and most of the time it's the wrong information. And so, if I say the world is no longer flat, and I prove it to you and I tell you, you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to go Google that right now. Let me just, I can't handle not knowing. I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so what happens in transformation is the weekly Q&A calls that we have always, and it's in the training too, but it's mostly the importance of the weekly Q&As, which I've been doing for 5 years straight. I've missed like 2.
Wow.
And every week, actually in our coaching program, we now have like 5 a week. I'm not doing all 5, but I do at least 1. And every call is always about removing false beliefs from the people who are in our coaching program and filling those voids once I remove it with the right beliefs that they need to have. You can do this. This is why you can do this. We'll bring on case studies of, Ben just did 25,000 last month. Let's listen to what he has to say. So you're always instilling beliefs every single week. And the people who don't show up, they're the ones who end up not doing anything. It's always the same core group of people that show. It's just crazy, actually. The most successful ones are always still showing up, and it's because they understand that anytime they feel down or they're doubting it, they need us. And we don't know everything, but what we do know is that it's our obligation and our job to continue to transform these people and removing the false beliefs and instilling new beliefs into their mind. So,
wow, that's beautiful articulation, James. I think like showing up is a 90% game, right? Especially as
absolutely.
an entrepreneur who wants the transformation. And yeah, I really enjoy the piece you've actually dropped here, which is the Q&A part. I mean, I think a lot of coaches kind of yell at their customers and clients just saying that simply, oh, they just don't watch my course, they just don't do it. But guess what? Get them on
Mhm.
and remove all the false beliefs, because every week they're gonna come back with a new objection on why they can't do it, and you should
Absolutely.
be there hand holding them, just like what you mentioned. I mean, most people, they know what to do, they know how to do it, they know when to do it, but they just don't do it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And you need to give that little push so that your customers get the most success, and you can kind of showcase that to transform more people and to create that impact, right? That's beautiful, James. Appreciate you mentioning
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, let's get to the next question, brother. I mean, just think about that. One ad, one funnel, one offer, bam, $25 million business.
Mhm.
Sounds pretty interesting, right? So can you kind of walk us through like the kind of traffic you've used, and like what it really took to build this huge coaching business? So how did you actually do it?
Um, one ad, one offer, one coaching program. Um, so, it goes back to like just kind of like the main infrastructure of marketing and sales. I mean, if your offer is not a good offer, then you're never going to your coaching program could be the greatest thing in the world, but your offer needs to blow people away, where it's like, I'm an idiot if I don't do this. And so, you know, one thing that I think that we did really well was, and this is great for new coaches, is that you have got to get case studies and testimonials. If it's almost like I call it the law of 20. You should be selling your coaching program for anything that people will buy, and you should 100% spend all of your time with those 10 or 20 people and get them a result and get them on a case study immediately. Because once you have 20, that's where you can go to 20 million. Because 20 of your core students that rave about you, that love you, and give you case study testimonials, you can use that in your marketing, in your one funnel, and simplifying your business. And it's crazy to think that I've done this amount of money. I'm actually mad that I haven't done more, to be honest with you. But I couldn't find sales guys fast enough. And because
That's a
believe it or
hard
not,
problem to have.
I'm telling you, when the pandemic hit, like half my sales team like freaked out, and it was like, okay, I guess everybody's freaking out now. But and I get it, you know what I mean. But I would probably have another 5 to 6 million added to that. But again, building it was literally. I mean, I hate to make things sound simple because it sounds like I don't know, cocky or something. But if you have one ad and one good ad and one great offer, and I used Facebook ads in the beginning. And Facebook ads was a long form copy, and I'm not even a good copywriter, but I, hit the main things. And then landing page, value video. I don't do webinars ever. I keep my videos to 20 minutes or less. I don't think people have time for that, and I think people kind of know that the industry and how it works.
Mm-hmm.
and get them to a call. That's it. My goal is getting people to a phone call, and keeping it simple. Oh, and
Guys,
YouTube ads.
so
YouTube ads we did really, really well with YouTube ads.
wow, yeah, I think YouTube is much more reliable traffic source than Facebook because the shutdowns and
Yeah.
the kind of CPAs up and down. I think that's a crazy flywheel to be on. Surely,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
James.
yeah. We moved off of it after a year and a half from starting, and then we were on. We just gave up on Facebook, and then we were on YouTube for since 2000 late 2018, I want to say, and then we just recently got
Wow,
back on Facebook.
that's quite interesting. So you all this time while you're building this freaking multi $8 million, multi 8 figure business, you didn't use Facebook at all, like 100% Google, YouTube.
Oh, it was mostly it was most of our sales came when we turned YouTube on because the scalability. YouTube, you can go from 1,000 a day, or you can go from $50 a day to 25,000 a day, and nobody,
Not worry about anything.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you're gonna, you're scaling, so you're gonna spend more per lead, more for everything. But if the numbers work, then you just keep doing more of the same. I think we've spent like 15,000 a day at one point. And the numbers still worked. But we, again,
Wow.
sales guys, if you don't have enough, then you can't. You have to slow down.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
mean the real problem is that while you're ramping up more number of appointments, and yeah, I think that's really beautiful, guys. So you know what you need to build a $20 million business? You need that 20 case studies and testimonials.
that's right.
That's what
Yes.
it takes for you to build a $20 million business.
Yep.
That's a beautiful and much simpler analogy, James. Appreciate you mentioning that, brother. And yeah, I think that sums up to the next question we have here. Pretty interesting to answer too. I mean, while you're actually talking about building a business, one of the key things you mentioned about is infrastructure, like delivery mechanisms, the kind of people you need. I'm not sure. When I looked at you, you seems like a very simple guy who had like bunch of VAs and that's it. So we would love to kind of have a deep dive into like the infrastructure you use to scale this to the moon. Like, how did you do it so efficiently?
Uh, I honestly, so I have a partner, right? So obviously that helps. If you're just a lone wolf, then you would need to find a COO, Chief Operating Officer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I mean, to be honest with you, it's just me, my partner, our COO, and really all it was 3 VAs for support and 3 coaches. That's how we ran the business. And to be honest with you, in the 3 VAs were doing onboarding. And then the coaches were going live when we weren't, right? So 3 and 2 days a week. So 5 days a week. And that was it. I mean, because what more do you need? Like I see these people, like honestly, I see so much. Like I even just saw it today. I was like, oh my God, like why do they have 18 employees? Like I get it. Like I just don't get. I don't get it. Like I don't understand. You're running an online coaching program, right? You take 3 of your best students that have the most success, and you pay them a couple grand a month, and they go live once a week, answer questions, instill belief, like what I mean, because they did it themselves. So you're like cloning yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then the main coach, person who owns the coach program goes once or twice a week. If you want to go twice a week, that's fine. And I mean, I don't really know what all this craziness is about. Like, I don't really get it. Like, we've been bringing in, I mean, we brought in 6,000, but at our height, we were doing 300 people a month. We were able to it's only, what is that, 300 a month? That's at 10 a day. 3 VAs, they handle 2 calls a day to onboard them. I don't really know what people are doing. I don't. I want money in my pocket, right? Like, if I have a $5 million a year business, what good is it if I'm spending 4.5 million? Like, I don't like. I
True.
just, yeah.
Profit margins
I like to
matter.
run it lean, nice and lean.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a thick, right? Thick
Right.
margin here while you're running like a smaller team. I think that comes down to like the focus and the quality. I genuinely believe like while you're running a business, especially on a higher scale, the more moving parts you have, the more inefficient it becomes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Miscommunication, right? All of this jazz, the infrastructure kind of gets too much weird and tear. And I mean, guys, you know what you need? All you need is couple of successful students who will become the early coaches to clone yourself, and couple of years to onboard to build a $25 million business. I
Yeah,
mean, that's oversimplification,
it
not
is.
as good and as easy as it sounds, but definitely worth trying. So go for it. Do not listen to these gurus who's trying to teach you a player team, 50 people in your all of that crap. No, keep it simple. That's
Keep it
beautiful,
simple.
James. Appreciate you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, let's get into more on the tech side of it. Like, what kind of tools do you use to manage your clients and projects for productivity? How does that look like?
Um, you're a ClickFunnels guy, though. I don't know if I can talk about it. Aren't you a ClickFunnels guy?
Yeah, everyone is on ClickFunnels right here who's actually listening to this.
I know. So so out of respect for Russell Brunson and the fact that I've used ClickFunnels for 4.5 years, or 5 years, maybe it was even longer because I was doing it with something like that. We still have it, so we're good there.
Mm-hmm.
But I did create a coaching. It's called Course Vault, and basically what it is. This is like a game changer for me because and maybe you know this because you're also running a business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, like we were running like 40,000 zaps a month or something like that. We like I wanted to die. So when you talk about it's not as easy as it sounds, yeah, because the freaking technology hasn't caught up with the coaching space.
Yeah.
And so, you're running your ad and then you have your funnel, ClickFunnels. Then you need a calendar, right? So you got Calendly or Schedule Ones. And when you have 19 sales guys, it's costing you $1,000 a month. Your chat for the support chat, your autoresponder for emailing, your text line, or like I can go on and on with this. Ring Central, because you need to listen to their calls, yada yada yada. So at one point we were spending about $3,000 a month on tools, and I was like, this is like ridiculous. And so right now we moved our entire business into a software called Course Vault, and it's an all-in-one tool that handles everything a coach needs. Everything. Matter of fact, I'm about to release this to the public. It
Wow, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
it handles everything. Now, it does have a funnel builder in it, but we still use ClickFunnels because I started with ClickFunnels and I'm a loyal guy. So you can still use ClickFunnels. You don't have to use a funnel builder, but it has everything. Like we have no zaps. We have one tool called Course Vault, and it has calendars. It has a calendar. It has text messages and the conversations. It has you call out of it, like anything you want to complicate yourself, it all goes into that. So that was a game changer for me. Huge game
Wow.
changer. So
Yeah. I think that comes down to again one thing. You simplified all of this jazz, a lot of moving parts. I mean, 40,000 that zaps. Like, think about that for a second. I mean,
yeah,
it's
it was
zapping almost
insanity.
every second a day, right?
It
Pretty
was
pretty
it
crazy
was
stuff.
insanity. And then the emails from this broke, and then at some point, and I'll drop this. The reason what made me spend all this time and money on building this was because in September of last year we were using Infusionsoft, and we had to create a zap for opens for people that were opening, and I couldn't figure out why our call volume was dropping. And I was sending broadcasts out, and we usually book 10 calls every broadcast, and it was February. It wasn't January. It was February. So September. I mean, no, it was
Mm-hmm.
September. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like 9 or 10 months. I realized I was like, we are not booking any calls off of emails. My broadcast, I'm like, either I lost the touch, I don't really know what's going on. And what happened was the Zap broke that was adding opens into the broadcast list. And so the 23,000 people that I was emailing initially was good. And then it was the same list I was emailing for 10 months. So eventually I
Oh my God.
burned the list and nobody was opening, and I killed the domain, and I like wanted to throw my chair through the window. And I was like, I'm done with all these connections. I've had enough. Let's build something for coaches and let's have them run it all in one system.
Wow. Wow, that's a crazy situation to be in, guys. So yeah, James, I think that's a beautiful story. Thank you for mentioning that. I think a lot of coaches gonna be there, right? At some point, to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
And guys, so you need to check out Course Wall. I mean, I'm not sure when you're officially releasing it, if you have any link, but yeah, we would love to hear that. in the end of the podcast. Appreciate you mentioning that information, buddy. And James, let's get into your $25 million routine. Like, do you kind of follow any routines? Are you a big fan of that? How does that look like?
I'm not a fan of routines. I tell you what I am a fan of. I'm a fan of maximizing your time when you're actually working, because most people don't. Most people like it, what do they call it? What's that? You'll probably know this. It's called you know what? I'm not going to remember it, but whoever's listening or watching this, they'll probably be like, "Oh, it's called this." It's basically that says if you allow yourself a week to finish a task, it'll take you a week. If you give yourself an hour, it'll take you an hour, right?
Yeah.
Padel's law or something, I can't remember. And so I don't really have a routine other than the fact that when I step through this door of my office and I sit down, I've planned today yesterday, right? So at the end of today, which when I have a live to do, and then I'll for an hour. Oh no, I have my call tonight too. So tonight at like 10 p.m. after I'm done with my Wednesday live, I will game plan tomorrow what I need to do, what I need to get done, and I may only be in the office for 3 hours tomorrow. It's Thursday, so and I'll get everything that I need to get done. I did implement a 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Routine, only because I needed to learn a lot more about crypto. So it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm going to learn something new, I'm not going to do it during my work hours. I'm going to do it where I'm willing to give up time. And so since September, I've been coming into the office from 5 to 7, go home, eat breakfast with my kids, see them off to school, and then head back in the office. But normally I don't do that, but I needed to learn crypto and NFTs and all that crazy jazz.
So yeah, are you well on that? How does that look like? Are you buying heavy on NFTs?
Yeah. I got myself into like 2 really good NFTs that, like, I was just saying today, I was like, I really want to sell these things because the profit was ridiculous, but we'll see. Maybe I'll hold.
Yeah, I mean, you need to hold on. It's gonna go pump up
I
much
know.
more, right?
Yeah, well, at some point they were going to crash down to the ground, and that I can tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. It's close. Yeah, I mean, it's market. People are going crazy on NFT. So yeah, let's see. I think the hype is gonna continue for a couple of weeks at least. Hopefully,
I agree.
maybe months. Yeah, and yeah, that's interesting, James. Yeah, we appreciate you mentioning that. Yeah, let's get to the next question, brother. I mean, you started as like a former educator, kind of normal school, right? From a business school, graduate, right? All of that stuff. So if there's an option to talk to a 20-year-old yourself and give yourself one single suggestion, or someone who is just getting started in the business right now, what will be your number one suggestion for them?
Get a job and use the money to educate yourself in the online world, right? I mean, if you're lucky enough to have parents that can help you, and go essentially, instead of going out and spending money at bars and going on vacations and stuff like that, literally give yourself 6 months and invest in the top names in the industry, people who've been there and done it. And you can, I mean, once you get into the world, especially if you're in a ClickFunnels world, like, you'll know who the top people are, right? And so if you have a way to pay your way into the inner circle, where whoever that inner circle would be, that, I guess that's what my advice would be, is like, find the best of the best and pay your way in. And you
Yeah, I
need a
think
job
that's
to get the money, right? So that's why I always say get a job.
Yeah, and not the typical entrepreneurial advice which says burn the boats. No, get a job, get secure first, right? Then educate yourself. I think that's the best action plan, James.
Yeah, it takes the pressure. I was in education and a vice principal since when did I end? April of 2018. I launched in April of 2017, and I was making a boatload of money. It's 2017 to 2018 for an entire year before I resigned. And funny enough, a big part of my success was clarity. And if I was always worried about the next dollar and chasing the next dollar to feed my family, I would never have been able to think clear. And I even tell the students, I'm like, make sure you have income, and this is a side hustle. And so anybody in the ClickFunnels world, like, don't hate your job. Like, it's okay to have a job. Like, don't listen to what everybody's telling you. It's not logical. Like, oh, back against the wall. No, A plan, B plan, plan B. Like, dude, you need clarity. You need to have a foundation financially. And then at night, when you come home, when your bills are paid and everybody's taken care of, you actually will be clear and can work till 1 o'clock in the morning if you needed to. When you're
Yeah,
worried and stressed and don't know when your next dollar is going to come, you're
it's
never going
hard.
to figure this out. You're going to be exhausted. Your brain doesn't work. And so
Yeah.
love your job, even if you hate it. Love it. And that is your means to an end.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful advice, James. I think that's a real deal, right? Not a lot of
Yeah.
people talk about this. They want to sugarcoat it and make it, oh, it's the entrepreneurship team. Just
Right.
quit and see how it's gonna flow. Nope. I think that stressful situation can't help you to focus and will really make things stress. I mean, dude, like, did you really? I mean, this is interesting. Like, look at who's on the podcast today who still continued the job while running a successful eight-figure business. He then quit the job while he saw the potential to scale to the next level. I think
Yeah.
that's the kind of commitment you need while you're actually building a business. It's not just about leaving on the first day, resigning it if you have an idea. Nope. I think that's beautiful, brother. Appreciate you mentioning that. Let's get to the next question. Your life's biggest achievement so far and any next bigger goals.
My kids, probably my biggest achievement. I married the right woman and I had great kids, have great kids. But I would say, um, any bigger goal. Yeah. So my goal is to grow a coaching program now into the coaching space. I I've been working in the local marketing space for 5 years. And I'm tired. And it kind of
Mm-hmm.
runs itself, and I need a new, uh, I guess, a new goal now. This thing will run, and it'll just constantly run, and I'm lucky for that, right? I put in the work, I put in the equity, and now I want to challenge myself and jump into probably the most saturated industry on the
Coaching the
planet,
coaches. Yeah.
coaching coaches, which is the most saturated, craziest thing. It's like, I mean, it's interesting because I did it in uh well, Jesus, we're in December, right? So July. So in
Mm-hmm.
July, I turned ads on to coach coaches, and I took on 10. I took 10 coaches one-on-ones, um, and I just wanted to see if I was going to enjoy it. That's what I wanted to do. So I charged
Mm-hmm.
very high amount of money, and I said we're going to work one-on-one with you, like literally like this, one-on-one. And I did it for 6 weeks, and we had good success with it. But then I was like, I loved it, but I was like, I'm exhausted because it's like you can't
Too much
scale it,
one-on-one.
which
Yeah.
I knew you couldn't. I just wanted to make sure that this was the space I wanted to go in, and it gave me the same feeling of when I started in the local space. And
Hmm.
so I basically have been working on uh, this, the course at scale and the course vault since then. And so this is the space I'm going to go into. That's my next goal.
Wow, that's interesting move, James. I think this is gonna be exciting for sure to
Yeah,
see how
hopefully.
you're gonna disrupt. I'm sure you're gonna disrupt the entire thing. So coaches who are going to coach coaches,
I
stay
know.
tuned. James is stepping in.
I
So
know.
get ready to pack your bags.
That's right.
That's gonna be amazing, James. Yeah, appreciate you mentioning that, brother. So let's get into the next question. This will be pretty interesting to answer. What was the biggest mistake of your life? I know as an entrepreneur, you don't take that as mistakes, but yeah, looking back, what do you think is like a good learning lesson overall?
Um. All right. So, biggest mistake in business, I would say two. I have two of them. Number one was not investing more of the money that I made.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of money and I invested a good amount, but if I could do it again, I would have invested probably a lot more. Instead, I enjoyed my life, and I could have probably tripled the investment I made last year has tripled since then. And so I wish I would have just threw all the money I had at the time into that, but it is what it is. Um, and the next thing would be I owned a six family property in a town because I own real estate too. And
Mm-hmm.
I owned a six family and I sold it in late 2018. because I was making money and I was like, I don't want to deal with this, yada yada yada. And that was a bad that I should not have. It's like it's doubled its value
Oh,
since I sold it. So yeah, I'm pissed
you could
about it.
have
I'm
got a
still pissed.
property manager, bro.
So yeah, so I manage my own properties. Well, I still own another 6 family and I own an 80 unit out of state, so I have a manager on that one.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, yeah, I think the wealth generation has become much easier and fun if you're just an opportunity grabber, right? And yeah, you could have bought crypto heavy in the early
Mm.
stages,
Oh
right?
God.
You could have become a whale back
You
then. And
reminded
oh
me of
yeah.
another mistake. I sold all my crypto in March of 2020. Um, and then it
Oh my God,
and then it
that's the
moonshotted.
lowest point of crypto.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Screw this. This is stupid. I don't even know. I wasn't in the world. I just invested like, oh, I'll throw this, throw that. And yeah, that's like that might be my number one mistake actually.
Oh my God. Wow. That's interesting. I mean, I've looked at a meme and someone was like, hey, some random kid invested like 8K into Shiba and
Yeah,
that
like a
turned out to
billion.
be like 5 billion. I'm just like,
Yeah,
dude, like, what's this? Right? I mean, and the turnaround was pretty short. I mean, yeah. So, guys, crypto is going to be turnarounding big. So make sure to have wide open eyes and see the dip and buy the dip and
yeah,
hold on. It's going to
yeah.
be fluctuating. Hold on your emotions. So,
But
yeah,
expect
that's
expect to
interesting.
lose. Expect to lose, and then you won't care as much.
Yeah, you gotta lose. Again, don't put your life savings
Exactly.
securities on crypto. It's a fun money. Play with your fun money. Don't
Yep.
worry if you lose it. It's just how it is. It just flows out, right? That's beautiful,
Exactly.
brother. Let's get to the next question, and this should be very very interesting. James, if you had an option to start all over again, how would you do it right now? Right now?
Start all over in this business.
Yeah, I mean anything. Basically, do you want to build the same business, or do you have any different aspirations? How would you do it?
I don't think I would do it any differently than I did it. I think that, like I said before, I had a job and I built this on the side and I didn't have the pressure and the create. I've talked to coaches where they're like, yo, I have like, I need to make a sale this month. Like, what do I got to do to make a sale this month? And I think that would be the way. If I lost it all, like this is probably a little more insightful than anything. If I lost it all, like let's say I had no money left, and I was starting in a new industry, I would go get a job, right? I'd go get a teaching job or some job. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
how much it paid. I'd get my insurance paid for, and then I would start the same process that I did back in the day, which would build it on the side, work at night, take the pressure off me to pay my bills, and that's the way I would do it. And I would, but I'm just it's hard to say now because I'm in a position where like it's easy for me to infiltrate other things. Cause I know exactly what to do, right? Um,
Hmm.
so, but that's what I would do to take the pressure off.
Yeah, I think that proves the passion you have on the kind of creating the impact you've been doing over and over. I think that's beautiful, brother. Appreciate you mentioning that. Let's get to the next question. As an entrepreneur, you go low key sometimes and you get distracted, right? Like, what keeps you motivated? Like, what is your main inspiration for the success, and who are the key people involved in your journey?
Um, it's your why, right? Like for me, it's my family, my wife and my kids. I think that, funny enough, it's, we talk about like making money and making sure that the secure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm more about like, I want my kids to see how hard I work. So that instills the hard work in them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have some friends that are really successful, and like they literally don't have to work and they just kind of hang around during the day and they're home when their kids get home. And, you know, yeah, it would be cool. Like I could be home with my kids, but I actually think that that's more hurtful than harmful. I think that kids
Mm.
need to see that the breadwinner or the father or even the mother, are working, and when it will instill the work ethic in their
True.
brain, rather than just being like, well, my father sat around all the time or my mom sat around, I guess I could do the same. And that's not the way life is. So,
Hmm.
and the key persons is my wife and my kids. Always have and always will be.
Yeah, that's beautiful, brother. And I think that's important, like especially if you're rich, teach your kids on how to get stuff done by doing the work and putting the efforts. You just can't let your money sit in their bank and think that's its own.
Yep.
Nope, it's not. Yeah, they need to earn it or own it at least, right? So yeah, I
Exactly.
think that's a beautiful podcast session, James. It was so insightful, especially for coaches, and we are excited to see you disrupting the entire coaching industry with your client, coaches world, as well as the coaching coaches industry. This is going to be pretty interesting. I know you'll have a big time in this, brother. It's going to be, get ready for creating your own blue ocean. I know you're here with an action plan, so we're excited to see that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. James, like if someone needs more help, if one of the coaches listening to this might need more help, so where can our audience find you mentoring, brother?
Yeah, I would just say they can go to courseatscale.com. That would probably be the best way to do it. So it would be course, not courses. It would be courseatscale.com. AT is the at.
Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, guys, make sure to check out the description. I'll be adding courseatscale.com so that you can actually check out and get in touch with James or his team to help you build your own coaching business. That's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, James, appreciate you mentioning that. Any last word before we conclude the total podcast session for today?
Uh, no, I mean, first of all, thank you to you. I mean, you're very persistent, so I have to give you that. That's probably why you're a pretty successful guy yourself, and you're like young, right? You're like 20, 21, 20.
Yeah, I'm 20.
God bless, man. Way ahead of the game, man. When I was 20, I don't even know what I was doing. So kudos to you, and for everybody listening. Make sure that when he messages you to do your 2 comma club, your 2 comma club interview, that you message him back and don't be like me. I apologize for making you wait so long.
Oh, no problem, brother. I mean, you're a guy who's managing a lot of stuff together, so we understand that, no problem. But yeah, we're glad that we actually made it. I mean, it was insanely valuable and so insightful for all of the people, and it's gonna continue to provide value to a lot more people who are gonna be listening this for a long time. I think that's really important, brother. That's the main motto why we are sharing this, why we are doing this together here, to give and share values and information, real valid information for the people, unlike this shiny objects which other people are trying to capitalize on. I think that's the goal here, right? That was beautiful, brother. Again, once again, James, amazing opportunity. Thank you so much for this. It was really insightful having you once again on this podcast. We're definitely looking forward to have you once again once you have some time, hopefully quicker.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, guys, so hopefully guys who actually listen to this podcast so far, you literally have a clear action plan. All you need is 3 VAs, 3 students, and a business partner to run a
That's
$25
it.
million business. So no crazy tech staff. All you need is the client, the coach's world, and keep it simple. You can build a multi eight figure business easy. Don't have a lot of moving parts, and you could scale it. And yeah, maybe I'm sugarcoating it, but yeah, you could do it. Get in touch with James and he will uncover for you how to do it. So that's going to be the best place to get mentorship and help it. And stay tuned for the next interview, guys. I'm going to be coming back with another amazing guest just like James. And this is me, the Nikhil Sai, and James signing off for today. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye,
Peace.
James.
Thanks, guys.